Hello, this is Karen Johnson. We're here with another in a series of tapings of the history of Proctors. This is for purposes of knowing when we're taping, November 2nd, 2015. And we have with us Shaw Rabadi, who runs the food and beverage operation at Proctors, which years ago hardly existed. So Shaw, welcome, and tell me a little bit about your background. What did you do before you came to Proctors?
Well, good morning to you also, Karen. Nice to be here. Part of my background, actually, for the past quarter century, I had owned my own restaurant and catering business in Gilliland, New York. Prior to that, I was in corporate America. I have gone to school here locally in the Capital District, namely Troy, Rensselaer Polytechnic Institute, and I remain in the area after graduation. So I have an affinity and love for this area because of its proximity to a wide arena, if you will, of entertainments, destinations, and of course family. So I stayed in this area, and having done the 25 years of food and beverage business, if you will, the hospitality business, I had an opportunity to come here to Schenectady and spend some time since the beginning of this year.
So you met Philip somewhere, obviously.
Well, you know, Philip is it's a huge personality, and he cannot be missed anywhere he's involved with any of the events or charities throughout the whole capital region. So I have met him on several occasions. My daughter is involved in the theater as well, so she had been at SLOC as well as the GE Theater. So during all those travels, we've met some of the folks that been here at whether it was Capitol Rep or whether it is at Proctors Theater. So we've been involved in that aspect of it, beside the food and beverage business as well, through my daughter's interest in the musical theater, if you will.
So you could mention the name of your restaurant, because people may wonder from the description you gave where you last were.
Right. I own BFS Restaurant and Catering right on Western Avenue. Started in 1988. And I exited that business back in 2012.
And ironically enough, you did the catering for Boston Pops when we were in Albany at the, I don't know what it was at the time, the Pepsi or whatever.
Right, exactly.
And we had little tables, and we were trying to pretend we were in Boston.
Exactly.
But it was very nice.
And it was a fancy type of a thing. You know, my involvement in the theater actually goes back, way back. In fact, in 1990, 91, 92, I ran the food and beverage operation at Capitol Rep back then. So that's how it came about. In fact, we did all of the venues as well at the Egg. To a certain extent for approximately 2 seasons. And I was involved with the Palace, probably did about 80% of all their venues there for the artists, the green rooms, the back of the house, type stuff, for almost a decade. So I've met a lot of artists out there, but I have nothing to show for it.
Well, I don't know what it would be that you'd have to show for it, but that's really interesting. So you had one foot in both camps.
Exactly, just for for the fun of it and for the love of it. We've done a lot of work in those areas, and met from the Tony Bennett's to the Jerry Seinfelds to some of the rock bands for almost a decade then at the Palace Theater, and it was extremely obviously demanding as it is here, and it is extremely fun to meet some of these folks and to meet their expectations in terms of food and beverage.
I don't think the public always knows how much food operation goes on, not to the public, but to the acts. And they're very often pretty specific about what they need and want, and they, after all, are on tour.
Exactly.
They don't have a refrigerator.
No, they don't. And in fact, they come up with a specific, what they call a rider. And in the rider, they explain explicitly what they are looking for. And it's not just about the food and beverage, what they're going to eat and what they want to snack on during their time here, but also sometimes they need other things, whether it's magazines or whether it's even from like Sharpies and things of that sort. This coming Thursday, by the way, we are doing the food for the Jokers event coming up. So I have the writer. It's about 2 pages long, single spaced. So we were able to, meet with them and talk to them, and they were able to hire us to do that as well. So hopefully in the future, we'll be able to do that as well, including some of the stuff that when artists come into town, they do load-ins and load-outs, so we try to help in that area as well for our theaters.
Great. Now, when you came here, we had a small apostrophe going, a small cafe. All the food and beverage was not integrated under one management, and you are now in charge of everything.
Right.
How is that going?
Interesting, challenging, exciting, all of the above. When I first met Dan Sheen and Philip Morris for this position, they kind of shared with me the idea that they want to go in and renovate the cafe. And I said, whether you hire me or not, don't do what is on this paper, because it doesn't really lend itself to what I understood Proctors and Philip and his vision as to what's going to happen down the line, especially with all the things that are going on here in Schenectady and the economic development aspect of it, and the casino coming in and the whole area of downtown Schenectady. I just figured that it needed something just a little bit more interesting, a little bit more exciting, and with a little bit of sort of a planning to the future, because the only way to go is obviously up. So I kind of interjected to them, and I said, I would really love to be, and that was really an exciting challenge for me, not only to be responsible for what I say is anything that you eat and drink in this place, but also to try to develop something for the theater goers so they can come and look forward to enjoying, whether it's a cup of coffee or a latte or a cappuccino or a muffin or a sandwich. But it needs to be something that's really nice for our theater goers in support of them. So what we did is really for them, and also for our staff, and also for some of our tenants that are actually here in the theater as well.
Great. So you now order all the soda. Are you involved with wine and?
Yeah, one of the things that we did with the renovation is we expanded the apostrophe bar. So my responsibility is really anything that's fluid, anything that you drink, whether it's alcoholic, non-alcoholic, wine, beer, etc., plus all the alcoholic stuff as well, the wine, the liquor, and things of that sort. In anticipation of our growth potential, we decided that we needed to really make an investment in that aspect of it. And I think so far, so good. We've seen some really an uptick in the numbers that we have in that whole area. So I'm excited about it. So yeah, whether it's water or Beefeater gin, I'm responsible
Come see you.
Come see me, exactly.
So tell me a little bit about the physical improvements to apostrophe. How did you think them through? What did you really, what was it?
The challenge was to take what existed and improve on it. So we kind of started really with a blank piece of paper, and we said, what is it that we want to be and look like, when we're done, and kind of work backward. We practically doubled our space. And we've had, obviously, outside contractors and management people, project management people that actually contributed to this. And, of course, the internal staff here contributed a great deal. So we took basically what I had envisioned, what Philip and Dan said, what we want to do with this cafe, and translated that into something, that is not only operationally effective, but it's also to kind of give us that room for growth. So we practically doubled, if not more, doubled the space, both in the kitchen area, the customer service area, the counter area, as well as the bar and storage area. There's that old adage, you know, once you move into a new space, you look around and you say, gee, I'm short on space. And somehow I feel like we are right now almost short on space because of the level of growth that we've been experiencing. But, you know, several things took place, and I was really excited about that. Through some of the relationships that we've had, my personal relationships, and people who are really interested in the theater as well, and contributing to the cause. We've approached some folks that are in the hotel industry, namely the Hampton Inn in Albany, New York. They used to be a Holiday Inn. They rebranded. Okay. And based on that relationship, we said, hey, look, you know, you love theater. We'd like to have you as a supporter, as a sponsor of us. And in the process, in renovating and all going from the, you know, from the basically the Holiday Inn to the Hampton Inn, they had all this furniture and all these cabinets and all this stuff that they wanted to donate. So we were lucky, the lucky recipients
once again
of that, once again. So, which is, you know, so that really kind of propelled the project a little bit further, obviously from an economics perspective, but also we've gained a great support of the theater, and certainly our patrons here have actually benefited from having to sit on nice tables and chairs and enjoy the scenery as well.
So you got a new bar, which has its own storage in it. You have a front where you greet the public and you're showing them a lot of food, many salads, baked goods, right, sandwiches, things just quick pick up to go. And then you have 2 cash registers. So that's kind of the way the public greets it. What's going on behind the wall?
All kinds of stuff, lots of secrets. Well, in addition to all what you've stated, we also do a lot of catering, as you know, both for the public as well as the internal staff. Our internal staff have a lot of meetings and board meetings and things of that sort. I'm sure you're familiar with that. We've serviced you as well.
Right.
And we also have outside interested parties and groups that come in. We have great venues, and we certainly have great space for events. In addition to what Mazzone is doing next door to us at Keyhole, they do a wonderful job with that level of complexity in terms of catering. But the small venues, the middle of the way type of a thing, 100-person event, a cocktail event, a birthday party, things of that sort, we are now able to handle that. So what goes behind the scene is reaching out to those folks that are interested in renting the GE or the Fenimore room or the Guild room and hold a private event. So now we're able to do that. So that experience that I've had for the past 25 years, certainly what we're trying to do is to kind of bring it about and share it with the staff that we have in order for them to become, you know, efficient and proficient on what we do in terms of catering, so we're able to meet the clients and the clients' demands, and hopefully down the line we'll do a little bit more. The improvements that we did at the cafe is really to kind of expedite the line, so to speak. By that I mean we don't want the customer to wait longer than they really have to, especially during the shows. And as you know, the shows, we sometimes see 200-300 people coming through. So we improved the technology, we improved the storage space, we improved the, you know, the quick pick-me-up kind of a thing, grab-and-go type items. We've made things like the candy more accessible even at different location as well. We've consolidated all of our storage areas in terms of the beverages. You've mentioned the bar, for example. It used to be in 3 or 4 different places. Now it's all in, you know, in one area, which is great for the bartenders. So now they don't have to go to 3 to 4 different places, you know, for them to set up a bar. So all of those things are transparent. You cannot really see, but the goal was to improve the service to the customer, to expedite things, to move forward, and of course offer some different types of food. My background is Mediterranean and Mediterranean food, so we're trying to bring...
Did you ever write a book about that?
Yeah, actually, as a matter of fact, funny you mentioned that. Yes, I did.
Tell us about...
Savor the Spices of Life.
Now, do you have any actual examples of that cooking? And
of course, yeah. Right now, if you go to the our deli case where we feature some of our salads, we have ensalada caprese, which is tomato and fresh mozzarella salad. We have chickpea salad. We have lentil salads. We have grilled vegetables.
good, healthy stuff.
All good, healthy, no frying, no nothing like that. But and I think that's what the type of guests that we see coming our way. They want to have something a little bit different that's what's being offered here on State Street. So what we're doing really is trying to complement what's out there and trying to offer some alternatives to what's out there. And we're seeing the interest and certainly the desire to do more of that. So yeah, absolutely. So we're doing more of the Mediterranean, you know, not just about hummus and pita bread, of course. We're doing stuffed grape leaves, and we're doing, you know, all kinds of pasta salads and tortellini salads. So it's exciting. Yeah, it's really good.
Good. I noticed, well, if a lot of people don't know how you have an event at Proctor's, and basically you start with Dan Sheehan or someone from his group.
Correct.
And you make a calendar reservation. And then you start talking about what room, what food,
Right.
et cetera. So we have many things here, receptions after memorial receptions, birthday parties for kids.
And adults.
And adults.
Fashion shows and the like, yeah.
But there's an
absolutely.
awful lot of miscellaneous private things that go on here. And it's pretty exciting.
And that's to, you know, to the point that we need that diversity and that expertise and those capabilities to respond, for example, whether it's a coffee service for a group of 10 people or you know, a bar and a cocktail reception for 100 people, regardless of what type of an event, we need to be able to respond and respond, you know, effectively and on time. You know, there are no second chances in this business, you know, the catering business. You got to put your best foot forward and try to impress the client. I mean, I'm talking to a client that we're doing a surprise birthday party this coming Saturday. And it happened that they have some Mediterranean background in their you know, in their lives, so family and extended family. So the fact that they learned that we can do certain things that they're familiar with, they were really excited about it. So we put together a bundled package, if you will, that allows them to say, okay, so we can have this food, we can have this bar and these types of drinks, and we can have a cake, and we can celebrate, you know, the birthday party for this, you know, beautiful woman. Well, why not? You know, so we're able to do that. Speaking of the renovation, the folks that helped in providing some of the material. In fact, they didn't really know. They're from Connecticut, so they didn't know anything about Proctors. So when I approached them about having them to participate as a donor or a sponsor of Proctors Theater, they were really excited about that. So on the 18th of this month, they're coming as a company to see Motown, for example. Okay. You know, 35, 40 guests that they've never been to the theater. But those types of relationships, anytime you translate them into a business relationship, as well as, you know, having to expose them to what we have to offer here as a theater, as entertainment, as the arts, it's fantastic. So now we have 35 people that are going to come in and eat and see a show. And what a wonderful thing
We're going to have to throw you into the marketing department as well.
Well, you know, it's all about relationships. You know, everything that we do here is about relationships. I call it the hospitality aspect of it. It's everything about what the guests want. And if we can do that 100% of the time and every time, the right way and doing it right, then we should feel good and better about ourselves at the end of the day.
Well, that sounds like a pretty good ending for our show. That
Absolutely.
We're in the hospitality business and we need to do it well. So Shah Rabadi, thank you for being with us here today. This is Karen Johnson in another of our series of historic tapings. And the date today is November 2nd, 2015. Thank you so much for watching.